Thanks. Welcome, everyone. We're having a special City Council work session for today. We'll call it to order for Thursday, March 25th. Fairly short agenda. I want to follow on to next steps when it comes to finding a new Joe with Joe's announcement earlier this week. Two points I want to bring up and get feedback on. Josh is working on a resolution to bring with us next week that would, on an interim basis, elevate Kristen to, I'm not sure what the phrase is, it's probably still in the works, but interim assistant city manager until Joe's last day, and then interim city manager after Joe's last day and until we bring a new person on board. Any questions of Josh or of Kristen or Joe or me on that? Hearing none, this is.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
And this is going to put this person on the spot, but I think this is kind of big deal. I would like to personally know how Kristen feels about all this.
I was going to ask that question too.
No, I'm excited about the opportunity. I am grateful and appreciative of everyone's vote of confidence. And I'm excited to be in the position and assist and help in any way that I can through the transition of finding a new city manager to be involved in that process. I think it sounds to me really exciting to be not at the table as in getting to make the decision, but just bringing you information, being involved in the process, and really making sure that we get somebody in that chair that's a good fit for the city and for the employees.
Thank you. Thanks.
Good answer.
Thank you.
Other questions of anyone on that point? Awesome. Okay. The other thing to bring up is, as a council, we have a couple options, or really more than even a couple options of how to go about trying to find a new city manager. We can make it an internal process. We can, where we and crew do everything, or we can contract with a firm where we would solicit bids, review bids, make a selection, and do it that way, or even do a hybrid. What are your thoughts, ideas on the approach you want to take?
How is this done typically in other cities?
For
at this level, city manager,
you hire a professional firm, and granted, if you had an internal candidate that you wanted to hire without doing a process, you just would hire from within. But if you want to open it up to all, then you hire a firm and work with them. Some cities will work with a firm to narrow it down and to a group of finalists, and then city takes it over. Others work with a firm from the beginning to the end to do that. And timing wise, from today until someone comes on board, it could be it would be lightning fast if it was 2 months, but it could be 3, 4, 5 months, depending upon things. Kim, you got your hand raised?
Yeah, I was just going to give some input. I think we definitely should use a firm, and so we can open up the process to anybody who wants to apply, including internal candidates, if there are any. And they would just go through that same process. And I guess I'd want to understand more about the firm gets us to the point of the finalist versus to the finishing, and what that would look like. But I'm open to either, depending what council is comfortable with.
And it could be where we just ask for proposals. because it's just a handful of them, and we could literally, ask for proposals with a menu almost to select from, and we can make a decision then as well. But you're asking the firm to, help package the city and present the city to potential candidates all over, not just Oregon, but beyond Oregon, and then have them help to do background work and whittling down the group and prep for interviews and get their perspective on what they learned. And so, yeah. Thoughts, ideas?
I agree
So
with him.
would the firms whittle down all the applicants to where there's some we never even knew about or heard about, or would we see all of them and then not see in person? I mean, their applications.
However you want to do it, but if there's a big list, there could be, some clear ones that just don't make sense.
Some that aren't maybe even qualified according to our qualifications.
A lot of the ways we do that, I've seen that done, and we do it at my work, is you have some initial questions or qualifications that are like, bare minimum requirements. If you don't have this, we're not past, if you have somebody who's applying who's never worked in the city government before in their life, like they're not a qualified candidate, I don't want to spend my time looking at that person. So where that bar is set, I think we can debate on, but if we have that bar, then at least that company would weed out all of those types of candidates.
Well, I think that's what goes back to when I was someone asking on Mondays, if we have an updated job description, that can lead us to these job requirements that Doug is talking about. And then within the job requirements, then if we have preferences, that if we do decide to go with a firm based on certain things that we are looking for, or that, we have in mind, so certification, the ICMA, I think it's called, Joe, does that add a few points to the scorecard? Things like that. I think that we can, in working with this group, set those minimum standards, and what the job description should look like, or the job requirement should look like, minimum of 5 years in city government, city manager experience, a plus, things like that. I think that we should definitely have some say in that.
Yeah. And if I think any, I would recommend we hire a firm that we direct Joe and Josh to reach out to the big 4 or 5 outfits that commonly do it in Oregon to solicit proposals. And then us meet back and review those proposals next week. And if it's fast enough, we could do one meeting where we're having to pass a resolution in a city council meeting for Kristen, and then have a work session to review proposals even.
Yeah. This is one of the biggest decisions we're going to make during our term here. So I think that it makes sense to hire a firm to help us do it the right way.
I personally like the idea of hiring a firm, but then doing a hybrid, so that once the firm narrows down the candidates, that the city staff takes it from there.
City staff or council?
City council.
In any process, city council will be heavily involved when it comes to agreeing to the finalists and then meeting with the finalists. I would also expect that city leadership staff would be involved in meeting and talking with finalists because we want their input and perspective as well.
Yeah, I think that's pretty critical right there.
Yeah.
They're the ones who have to work with whoever we hire on a daily basis. Right. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
And maybe along the way, as Joe and Josh reach out to these firms, if they could, even if it's not a big deal, I'd like to get a regular, maybe not every day, but a regular update on, here's what we did, here's who we talked to, here's who said yes, who's returned. I don't want to do just one meeting on this. I want to stay in the loop on this. I really do.
Yeah,
I just want to know what's going on.
One of the structures that we use at the state when we're doing hiring, working in the project management office is we will almost always have 2 rounds of interviews. And the first round will be a select group of project managers that will interview some of the candidates. The people that we pass on to the second round, we have some other project managers, but then we also have people from the business area of the project that this project manager is being hired for. So in this case, I would substitute business area for city staff, because those are the folks that would be working with this potential candidate. So I'd like to have, some of them be involved in the interview process potentially as well.
Yep.
Absolutely.
We might even, consider adding a neighboring city manager into the loop.
That's a good idea. I know Tigard somehow involved the community of some way, but I wasn't sure how they did that and if that's.
Yeah, and we can, in COVID days, it's kind of a different thing, but we can, when we review proposals and we pick a firm, we can get their feedback on what they've been doing this last year, because all these companies have been dealing with it the last year.
Yeah.
I'm sure they all have lots of ideas and opinions on the process.
So Tiger, they videotaped the interviews with the final 3 candidates, and then shared it with the community, and the community was able to share their thoughts about the candidates.
Oh, okay. Not like questioning from the community to the candidates, but more of their final interviews, and then they could chime in their opinions after.
Yeah, they were allowed to send in some of their questions ahead of time, and then the mayor considered them. But the real opportunity was for the community to see the responses of the city managers or the potential candidates.
What was the format of that feedback that was gathered from the public? Was it just open text box, say whatever you want, or?
It was sent directly to Mayor Snyder, if I remember correctly.
Just like an email or saying their thoughts, not a survey or something like that.
I don't remember it being a survey.
Yeah, I don't think it was a survey. So that firm was SGR out of Texas. Who,
Gee.
and I went through that process, as everyone knows. So like the mayor said, there's 3 to 5 firms that do this work in the Northwest, that if you directed Josh and I to start the process, I've actually been contacted by one of the firms already as the news has gotten out and said, hey, we're interested, and I think you pick a firm that you're comfortable with and that you like, and then you can design with them what you want. And they're fairly flexible. So all the things that you're saying make a lot of sense, but that fit for the firm is really important.
Yeah, because there's firms that do these large, high profile, the bigger, some cities even that are bigger than us, firms that do a lot that are, they're more our size or smaller. I'd want to know who they've worked with in the last, couple of years, in Oregon specifically. Yeah.
Sounds like a good route.
Well, in agreement. Any other thoughts or questions? If not, we'll have Joe and Josh reach out to those firms, because there are the for-profit firms, and then there's also the other one that we'll definitely reach out to that used to be affiliated with the League of Oregon Cities, but now they're affiliated with, what's the acronym, Joe, down Lane County, something?
Oh, I forget which one it is. I know who you're talking about, Mr. Mayor. I can reach out to them as well. So
yeah, and then we'll see how quick they can give us proposals. If they're all doing it, I can't imagine it'd be much effort to put one together.
Nope.
For us.
Nope.
And then we can circle back and see if it makes sense to get back together next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and feedback from council. Are any of those days bad for anyone? Next Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday?
I don't think so. Tim
doesn't get a say. since he's not joining us today.
I would make any of them work even if I was out of town. So my son's home for spring break next week. So, but I'd make any of them work quick. So.
Awesome.
Do we want, as a council, want to see the job description at all before it goes?
I would.
I can send that out, Counselor. I have
Okay.
a current job description that I can email to you tomorrow morning so you can see what it is. If you want to change anything, now's the time before you go out and
Right.
recruit for someone. So
Right.
I'll get that out.
The firm, whatever firm we select, will be weighing in and give suggestions on our job description too.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, as well as they'll help, collectively, here's the profile of the community and, what we're looking for and why and all that good stuff.
So Keith, the only conflict that I have is on Thursday. I have a 7 o'clock.
Okay.
But other than that, I'm fairly open. I just think I'm going to be doing overnights for the near future. One of my staff had a heart attack today, so.
Oh, no.
But yeah, that's my only conflict next week.
How is your staff person? Was it
Well-
a significant heart attack?
Was it a what?
Was it significant? I mean, all heart attacks are significant, but is he or she in the hospital and all that stuff?
Yeah, in the hospital, had been having the heart attack all throughout the evening. When I opened this morning, anyway,
Wow.
had surgery pretty much immediately. And then they found some other things going on. So he's going to be in the hospital for a few days and then we'll go from there. But
Yeah. Well, I'm glad he got help and hopefully all's well.
so I'll just be working over the evening.
Yeah, we'll focus on Tuesday, Wednesday, and but for some reason, if it's Thursday, maybe we do more like 5:30 on Thursday.
Yeah. Yep.
So, all right. Well, anything else for the good of the order on these two topics?
Yeah, I just had one more question. I just want to make sure that I'm understanding the sequence of events with regards to Kristen being named as interim assistant city manager. Is that has to be done by resolution? Is that correct? So at our next council meeting, we would do that?
Certainly, we're
Officially,
want to
right?
explain. I mean, we'd be directing Joe to do this for the between now and when Joe's last day, and then we would be making the agreement with Kristen for the weeks until someone new's on board.
Right. So the idea would be a single resolution that addresses both interim assistant city manager and interim city manager, or manager pro tem, as our charter calls it, in a single resolution. And we do have to have some council authorization even for the assistant city manager, because that's not a budgeted position.
So we would look to do that at our next special meeting.
Next week.
Yeah, next week.
Next week. We can't
Yes.
wait till April. Yeah.
Exactly.
When does Kristen start? Did she start today or tomorrow or
We haven't done the resolution
Saturday?
yet.
no?
As soon as she does the resolution, but we're talking already. So
Yeah.
The pay bump will undoubtedly be backdated.
Yeah.
So
Thanks for answering my question.
he has to have the extra compensation for, putting up with.
Joe, I mean us. Yeah.
I wasn't going to name names.
Just kidding, Joe.
Russell is a handful.
Oh, me. Joe's on his way out. He's kind of a target. So what's he gonna do?
oh,
Quit?
great.
Yeah. Just kidding, Joe.
Yeah, I was going to call it premium pay, but maybe we should call it hazard pay instead.
Yeah. There we go.
Correct.
Any other questions? If not, we'll wrap up one of the quickest, shortest city council work sessions in my memory.
Yeah.
Okay,
All
everyone good? Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
We are
right.
adjourned.